We're the boys.
Yeah.
We're the boys.
Boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're the boys.
We're
And
the
Anna
boys.
is a boy, and Mitch is a boy, and Chris is a boy, and Tim is a boy. And together we're the boys and the boys.
Welcome to podcast 4. Hopefully this will be more happy than the last podcast.
You mean instead of scary?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay, Chris has just opened a bag of veggie chips. So, here's a good topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Favorite snacks, one salty and one sweet. What are they?
I don't know if it would be the Cards peanuts for favorite salty.
Right. Do you have one in particular that you really like, flavor-wise?
Probably ranch or salt and vinegar.
Like the corn chips or the peanuts?
Corn chips.
Yeah. Okay, and sweet.
A sweet snack.
Yeah. Or a
Yeah.
candy, or you like ice cream, you like Dairy Queen. But I've noticed that your sweet tooth is wearing off a little bit. Is it because you're just becoming more health conscious, or you're like trying to eat less sugar? Because you used to eat candy
for some
by the
reason
bucket
I'm becoming
loads.
more health conscious,
Right.
even though I don't even need to theoretically.
Right.
But why I want to is because it makes you feel better.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. Would you still eat Reese peanut butter cups? I know you liked those for a while.
I don't really want to.
No.
I'd rather not.
Would you?
I love a peanut butter banana sandwich. Oh.
But that's not really
amazing.
sweet.
No, I'm just saying that sounds amazing right now.
What about you, Tim?
Popcorn is the not
Savory, salty.
salty.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of butter.
Oh, yeah,
of
and
butter,
salt.
salty butter.
And do you prefer the microwave bag ones or
No.
the current? Yeah.
Like
You
you go
need,
to the theater and you get an extra large refillable, well not anymore, bag of popcorn, and they take that watered down butter. Honestly,
Yeah.
they mix in so much salt and my mouth.
Did
There's
you-
way too much butter on popcorn?
Literally, it's soggy. No.
Do
Well,
you
kind of
ask them to layer it in the middle?
Mitch.
No, you
Like-
can put on your own butter, so you just
Oh,
have
you
them
can.
put on a bit, and then he drills the whole thing.
Like,
Before
you know what
they
I do?
had the pumps that you could pump yourself,
Yeah.
I would ask them stop putting the popcorn in at the middle, add your butter, and then add popcorn,
Yeah,
and
and
then
I found out that costs an extra 50 cents.
yeah, it
And
depends,
so,
sure.
but you can use the watered down stuff for free. And so what I do is I take it and I put some on and I eat the top layer while waiting to get into the movie.
Ah.
And then I go back and there's enough room for you to shake it around. So
Yeah.
I spray it, shake it around till it's all dry again, spray it, and then I do that till it all mixes in.
Right.
And then by the time I get to almost the bottom where it's stopped mixing in,
Yeah.
it's about time where I need to go to the bathroom if I got a drink as well. And so when I go out there, I just respray it and then go back in.
Wow, that is quite the process.
That's my movie.
Yeah.
I actually pay attention to what time in the movie is the time to take off from my bathroom break and popcorn time.
What about sweet?
I can't think of any other things than this right now, but I'd say either nibs or
Whoa.
Nips.
What is that?
either nibs or Mitchell just
That's
came with
the-
the most
the
insane,
white cheese and
beautiful
the
hot
Parmesan
dog
cheese.
sandwich.
That's
That's
ranch.
Oh, is it?
nice.
Oh,
So
I
he
thought
has-
it was the white cheese.
I should have melted cheese onto it.
He's got the
That'd be
last
crazy.
2 pads of bread that he put his 2 hot dogs on.
We didn't really need
Angled.
to say this on the
And,
podcast.
and then he put ranch drizzled on one, ketchup drizzled on the other, or is it hot sauce?
That's ketchup.
Ketchup?
Although hot sauce would be really good for dogs.
Now he's going for the hot sauce.
And drizzled ketchup on the other one, and then he poured
Parmesan
Parmesan on top.
Oh, there you
That
go.
looks
A lot
so
of
good.
bread, but that's okay.
So nibs, yes, I know you're a fan of the
It is
nibs.
Either nibs or
To the nib
the
tree
long-
house.
Yes.
the long
Oh, Twizzlers?
Licorice.
Licorice, yeah. Okay.
I don't really care for licorice.
Not the black stuff. I love
Oh,
the
black
red
stuff.
stuff.
You love the black stuff?
Well, it depends what stage of life I'm in, but I generally like the red stuff.
Yeah. You know what stuff I hate are those little, they're like little squares, and they're like layers. Like there would be like white coconut, and then like a black licorice, and then another layer, and like some of them are like
This
pink
phone's
and
going-
yellow.
oh, yeah.
Mine, pink and yellow, and like they're really. Some people really really love them, but like they're disgusting. They're like
You
they're
have
filled with jelly.
Wait, do you like dark black?
No.
No, exactly. Yeah, I don't need
I
it.
like
But
sambuca
people,
as a liqueur, but I
people
don't
that like black
black
licorice likes that because it's pretty much black
Yeah.
licorice.
No, not my bag.
No, what's a sweet? Because I can't think of sweet
Like
treats
chocolate.
that I like. No, I know,
Like a
but like,
Kit
what would you
Kat
say
or-
is yours?
Oh, hands down Skittles. I love Skittles.
Skittles. Good.
Yeah, like just regular original Skittles. Will get me every single time. Yeah, I'll take like candy over chocolate.
Booster
any day.
juice. That's my sweet.
Yeah, Booster Juice is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If there was a bag of Skittles or a Booster juice, which would you take?
Skittles.
Really?
Yeah, it's a problem.
Even if they sell Skittles at Booster juice, you'd take this. You'd go to
Oh,
Booster
man,
juice,
you're
buy
making it hard.
Skittles instead of Booster juice. That makes no sense. There's a large
That's tough.
funky monkey waiting for you, girl. If you don't know what Booster juice is, by the way, I think it might be only
Yeah,
in Canada.
you know what?
It's
I
a
might
shake
have to
place
go
that
with Booster Juice on
has
that.
a lot of real fruit in it. It's good.
And they're like proper like protein smoothies and shakes and stuff. They're actually quite good for you, and also delicious.
Kind of expensive, but it's okay.
So yeah, I would go Skittles for sweet, and then for salty, I really like because there's a few
Home run.
things I like. Like I like Smart Food, the white cheddar popcorn.
Special K.
The Special K
Fortunes.
cracker chips. But those are the things I've sort of learned to like because they're
Learned
healthier.
You didn't.
I mean, I did like them, and I've always liked them. But
you prefer other ones. Yeah.
the best, like if I'm gonna like go all out and not care about calories and fat, is like taking a thing of sour cream and adding French onion soup mix. And mixing that and making a dip out of it.
Is that sweet? Is that
No,
qualify as
it's-
sweet?
No, that's not sweet.
Oh, you're just saying
that's salty.
Oh, salted. Oh.
Yeah. So do you know that French onion soup mix and adding it to sour cream, and then a bag of Ruffles original, like the thick cut Ruffles, and dipping it in that.
You could eat veggie chips with it.
You could totally eat
It
veggie
would
chips
go
with it.
so good together.
It would go good together.
We need
Actually,
to try
yeah.
that.
We do need to try that. In fact, at some point before the weekend, I have to go to the grocery store and.
I won't be here, but yeah.
Aww.
Leave me out, it's okay. I'm fine. I'll just cry at home.
You're the one who
But
has to
think of
leave.
how much money he'll make
What?
off of the chips.
Yeah, but that's the hard part.
Yeah, well, that would be very good because those actually are very good. The veggie sticks.
Yeah, they're amazing. Garden Veggie are the most amazing brand people ever. They make all kinds of veggie chips. They have zesty ranch. They look like straws. They have original, which is just like salty. And then they have original chips, which are just pretty much cups. If you think of, what's that kind of chip you dip in?
Yeah, the scoops.
Scoops.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
They are good.
Every single one's good. At first, I didn't really like the flavor of the green one and stuff, but now it's just the saltiness of it's so good.
Yep.
They have
Very good.
they have the three different kinds: is potato, spinach, and sweet tomato, spinach, and potato.
So what about you, Mitch? Savory and sweet.
Okay, so I've been thinking about salty, and I don't really know. Like, I know like the ones I would usually get. Like I like either dill pickle chips or ketchup chips, but that's like super simple. But I can't think of anything that I'm like, if I find it, I'm like, oh, I have to get it, you know.
Right.
But I do know for sweet, and this is going to be controversial to some viewers, but my favorite candy ever is candy corn.
freaking love candy
I
corn.
love candy corn.
Yeah, it's straight up sugar, but it's so awesome.
Essentially, it's the type of candy that only comes out around Halloween.
Yes.
With the 3 different colors, and it's in a cone
It's
shape.
in a triangle.
Yeah. It's like a mushroom, isn't it? What?
No,
it's
it's in a
like a
triangle.
marshmallow.
No.
No, it's not like the banana marshmallow ones.
No.
No.
But it's I love it.
I probably never
I
even
just
tried it.
munch those down, just keep going. If I ever see them at some place, I always buy them.
Now, do you have a
Muffin Man?
certain way that you eat it? Because when I eat them, I will bite off the white part first, and then I'll go orange and then yellow. Or do you just pop them in your mouth?
Well, that's the thing. There's so many different ways to eat them that I essentially do everything.
Right.
Like sometimes what I'll do is I'll eat the tip and then eat the middle and then eat the bottom.
That's my
sometimes
style.
I'll break it in half and then chew it, and sometimes I'll just throw it in. So I kind of just change it up however I'm going. And maybe that's part of the reason why I like it, because I'm essentially I can eat it so many different
Now,
ways.
how do you feel about the wax pumpkins? Because the little pumpkins.
They're really good too.
Yeah, because they're made
But
of the same
they're-
thing. But,
I like the chew. They're a little more chewy.
Mhm.
I like the texture of the cones a little more,
Right.
as well as the flavor. And I think that I don't like that the pumpkin ones get stuck in my teeth, and they're a little sweet.
Yeah,
while
they're
the
very
candy
sweet.
corn is sweet,
Yeah.
but it also kind of has this really niceness to it.
yeah. Good call on the candy corn, yeah.
What that reminded me of is pop bottles. Those pop bottle
Oh,
candies.
yeah.
So
the
fun
bottle
to
caps.
eat the cap off and then suck
Mhm.
on it.
Yeah. I used to really like Fun Dip when I was a kid, where you take the little candy stick
Yeah.
and then dip it in the sugar.
Yeah. I
Like you
feel
get
ya.
like grape
Oh
and
my
cherry,
goodness,
right?
that is so good.
Love
I-
Fun Dip.
I would totally buy a case
Oh.
of those sticks and Fun Dips.
Mhm.
They are so much better than the sugar. It does go well with the sugar, but
yeah,
the
those
the
candies.
flavor of those sticks are so good.
I figured out the chips one because I said ketchup and dill pickle, but that's kind of just what I usually get. There's this kind of brand of chips that kind of goes strange, and they have things like bacon chips with syrup. But
Lazy.
the best ones they have, there's 2 of them, and I eat them together because one of them's a little too hot, and then the other one cools it down. One flavor is barbecue ribs,
Barbecue ribs.
and the other flavor is buffalo blue cheese wings.
Who makes these chips? I've never heard of them before.
They're in white bags. They might be President's Choice.
No
I'm not
name?
sure, but they're in white bags, and they're ripple kind.
Buffalo blue cheese wings. That
Yeah.
sounds phenomenal.
And they're in they're ripples type of chips. They have the ripples on them, and yeah, it's just a white bag, and then you have a picture of buffalo.
I think I've seen them at No Frills actually.
They're
yeah.
amazing. Yeah, they definitely would be at No Frills.
Yeah.
They're so good. The buffalo blue cheese, it's my favorite, but it gets too hot for me, and so then I go to then when it gets too hot, I go and I have the ribs to cool it down, and then I go back to the. But it's fantastic.
Wow. That.
Let's go to No Frills and get some
Yeah, let's go. Road trip.
Right now.
for the next podcast.
What's your favorite restaurant or your place you've eaten or food you've eaten?
Okay, I already have the answer.
Go for it, Mitch.
Well, kind of. There's 2 answers to this for me because it depends on what I'm looking for.
Right.
If I'm looking for Chinese food, I will go to Ming Tae. Ming Tae. Tim hasn't tried it yet, but Ming Tae, it's in Fort Erie, and it has spicier food,
Oh, okay.
but it's delicious, and their meat's amazing.
What type of cuisine is it? Like Thai or Chinese?
Chinese.
Or... Oh, you
Chinese.
said that. I'm sorry.
And it's they have beef strips, they have sesame, chicken, all that type of thing. But it's amazing because there's a spice to it, and the sauces are amazing, and the crunchiness is perfect.
Nice.
But the thing that I'm always in the mood for, and Tim knows that I'm always in the mood for this, barrel chicken wings.
Barrel chicken wings?
It's another place in Fort Erie, and
Okay.
the barrel chicken wings are amazing, right, Tim?
Would you say better than St. James Gate in
Yes.
Carlton Place?
They're not as big, but they just taste so good.
Yeah, I didn't like them that much. They were.
That's because you ate honey garlic. You're supposed to order medium.
Yeah, there's certain places that are just known for certain things.
Yeah.
Let me see. For me, I would have to say wind. I gotta go with sushi.
I can't complain with that.
I can't. I can't think of anything I like more than sushi. Tim, where are you?
Oh, I'm totally.
He's in the tuck shop.
You're totally what?
Totally in this conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I have to say Wind Sushi blows my mind every single time. And every single time I'll be like, maybe this time I'll be let down, and I never am. But I will say, sometimes, because we've been going long enough, you can taste the difference between chefs.
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
Like those eel rolls,
Oh,
like the big hand rolls,
yeah.
sometimes are freaking phenomenal. And other times, there's
not
too
at
much
all.
seaweed and it's too spicy. Or
Imagine if you could ask for, hey, can I have this chef? Or
yeah, if you knew who the chefs were that really,
if they had it.
Yeah.
I bet you they'd let you know the schedule.
yeah.
Or that. Yeah, but they have like 3 or 4 chefs behind the scenes.
You know what else is amazing? That donut shop that does wonton soup.
Oh, country fresh.
Country fresh. If you ever come to Niagara Falls in Canada, we have a little hidden gem of a diner run by Chinese people, and you
Don't
would
judge.
not think that they would sell wonton soup because they sell mostly like donuts and they do a grilled cheese sandwich and that kind of thing. But they make this insane wonton soup. Like,
It's amazing.
it literally is the best wonton soup ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Same
And it's cheap. It's like
Yeah,
$6
super cheap.
for a large, and you will be so full.
yeah, it's a lot. I have to say my
Oh, that's
option
making
number
me
two.
hungry.
Option number 2 for me would have to be the keg before I became a red meat vegetarian, because I loved a really, really nice medium on the side of rare steak with like some sauteed mushrooms and like a nice baked potato with like sour cream and chives and bacon.
What did it
and-
taste like when it was in your mouth?
Oh, it just would melt. It, like you like cut into it and it's like butter, and oh, it's so good. Anyway, I can't think about it because I'm not eating cows anymore. So I'm going with sushi because I love sushi. So
Oh,
what about you,
sushi's so
Tim?
good.
What's your answer to this?
I thought I already answered.
No.
No.
We changed the question.
Yeah,
Oh.
we were sweet and savory snacks, and then Mitchell asked restaurants.
No, Chris asked restaurants.
Oh, and you were the first to answer.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So these two guys over here have not answered. What's your feedback on this, Tim?
Favorite restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, favorite place you ate. Or like favorite food you ate, you know, like.
I think it would be like Nepali rice and lentils.
Really?
I'm joking.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Over wind?
Yeah.
He's like, I'd
Man,
have
it's
to go
like,
back
you're
to.
officially not my nephew.
Yeah.
Tim's like, I'd have to go back
done
to
with you.
Cineplex popcorn again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cineplex is the most famous restaurant. So I think it would be wind. I was
Wind.
I was.
Okay.
He was trying to.
Yeah.
He was doing
I
something.
was, acting. I was in my moment.
His
and
head-
You wrecked it. No, I'm joking.
He was in the clouds in the sky, and yeah. Yeah, wind has been our happy place for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Tim really was the one who got me on board, and then we sort of pulled Chris on board, and
We lowered ourselves off of going so much, which is nice and cheaper.
It's
yeah.
kinda like what
Because we
happened
used to
with
be
vlogs.
going all the time, which wasn't.
That was
the
like
best.
me and the barrel. I was always getting the barrel wings.
I did like that butter
And they
chicken
have
we
the best
got from the
sushi.
Smoking Buddha. You remember that
Oh.
place?
Yeah, just butter chicken in general,
General
is
is-
phenomenal.
Is it smoking like smoked meat or smoking like Buddha like Buddha's like puffing a few? Is that what it's going for? Or?
Yo,
No,
boo,
it's
boo.
it's just a name for an Indian restaurant. Where was it located?
But it's
Colbert?
definitely not
Buddha
Buddha.
Town
Some port.
on Buddha Street.
Some port. I think
Port
it's in.
Robinson or
I think it's in St. Catharines, so it would be the top then.
Robert Herson.
yeah. But no, it's just it's got really
Robertson.
and it's a cool vibe there too. Like half of the restaurant is outdoors and
They got heaters and it's,
It's in
Can I
Robertson.
go on? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is important. They're changing the Niagara Square into an outside mall. That's
What?
terrible.
I know it's
That's
literally
why they're
the
doing
worst
renovation.
thing-
That's why it's closed right now, because they're doing renovation to
worst
turn it into an
thing that they
outside
could do.
mall.
Why are they doing this?
I won't
Like,
go shopping. I won't go to the square anymore unless I'm
That's
going
so
to
dumb.
one of the stores that I normally don't have to go to.
I'll literally
inside
only
mall.
go to the Cineplex.
The dollar store. Yeah, I'll
I
only
hate
go.
those outdoor freaking malls. Why are people
Because
changing?
it's cheaper and it's kind of
Cheaper
becoming
and rent, they
a
don't have to heat
behind.
the halls.
It's not very popular anymore. Like, how often do you go to the Niagara Square? You
I
just
don't know.
don't.
I see teenagers all over the place.
Yeah, sure, there's people around there, but I'm saying, like,
Sure, there's people in it, but how many people go there?
I'm just saying, like, it is not
How'd
really
they get there?
that popular anymore because most of the stores you need to go is elsewhere. But they have to drive up prices and stuff because air conditioning inside the hallways, everything like that, maintenance, I don't know, the floors. I don't know, a lot of stuff you don't need to do. Supposedly, that's what I've heard.
I can understand from a business level being like, oh, well, we want costs to be cheaper for us and we don't care about our customers.
Because then we can sell it cheaper.
But as far as caring about your customers, I don't get it because it's the worst. It's either you're there in the summer and it's too hot, or you're there in the winter and you're not there in the winter because it's the winter.
Okay, they should literally just like, they should at least think about, okay, how can we please our customers cheaply instead of just being like, oh, we're just gonna basically make it the worst for you. Because if you want to make one little section that has no roof and it's kind of got some chairs and some trees and it's really cool and it's like a hangout so you can get some sun, well, okay, cool, but all of the hallways at least get like, pay for a tarp, a good quality tarp that you can, you know, that you can attach to the buildings or something like that,
Yeah,
to
that's actually a
create
good
some
point.
shade and a wind tunnel.
Well, and the other thing is like one thing that I really noticed in Hamilton, there's a mall called Center Mall, and they had changed to the outdoor stores, and my friend who's a cab driver said that old ladies or elderly people would use the mall to go walking in the winter, and that was their form of exercise. And he said, like, particularly people with walkers and stuff, because there's like benches set up inside, all you have to do is get in a door, and then you can pretty much go anywhere you need to in the warmth. You can stop when you need to stop. But now with the outdoor, if the bank, like the bank is like a good 500 meters from Walmart, and it's like an old lady in the snow pushing her walker. Like the cab driver would say they'd get a lot of calls from elderly people needing to go to the bank and then having to pay an extra cab fare to go the distance of the parking lot. Like, that sucks. Because at least in a mall, you get dropped off at one entrance, and then you can be inside, be warm, and take your time.
Instead of now you have
But
to
now
like,
you have
go
to, like-
inside, wait, warm up, go outside, walk for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
get it, and it seems to be the trend. Like, it's more and more of these outside malls that are, and
Yeah.
I predict that in like 30 years, someone's gonna go, hey, you know what we should do?
Make
We
malls
should connect all of these stores
Yeah.
together and have doors from the inside.
You know what?
Like, honestly,
I think you're ahead of your time. They should do that now.
it's
They're
just
literally
crazy.
working backwards.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
It's like
personally, but-
when you buy in the iPods. It goes big and small, and it should be bigger. Oh no, it should be smaller. Oh no, it should... and everyone seems like the newest thing and the better thing.
Recently, since Steve Jobs died, they're
Even
basically just
before.
screwing up Apple completely.
Yeah.
Well, Apple's always expensive and
No,
works
okay.
well.
That it's always
So
been,
good. It's good.
It's always been solid, and the thing is, it had a direction, and it was succeeding in the direction that it was deciding to go in. And then, and it wasn't taking the consumer's suggestions of, oh, we want you to change this feature and this feature and this feature.
So
It
it's
was
good
basically,
because it
we're
didn't
going
listen
to
to the
make the
people?
same thing, but better and better. And then what happened is now they come up with like the iPhone Plus, which is basically just an iPod, iPad, And then like they get the different sizes, and now they're making all these different things with like plastic
But
cases
Tim,
and all this stuff. And they're
It's an iPad.
they're just using money. They're using more money to satisfy consumers instead of just making a better product, which they can. They have the technology to make even better products.
They
but instead
are,
they're just
but they only release certain things when they get it right, or if
But-
they have too much, then they'll let it go on the next one.
But
the
what
new
made
iPhone,
Apple
the new
better is because they
iPhone
jumped ahead of
for
everyone.
the 10 years it's been out for 10 years, the new one is insane. They took out the
It
finger.
hasn't been out for 10 years.
Pretty sure.
10 years?
I'm pretty sure this
You
is
think the newest iPhone...
This is the. I'm pretty sure this is the 10th thing. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is,
you mean 10 years of making iPhones?
the iPhone. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
I thought you
okay.
I thought you were saying the latest
The
iPhone has
latest
been out
iPhone
for 10
has been
years
out for
and they
10
haven't made a
years.
new one.
But you
yet.
mean
No.
that's what I thought you meant too. But you're saying iPhone as a product,
Yeah.
starting off
I'm
with
pretty
like the
sure.
basic, has
10
been
years
around for
ago,
10 years.
around now, they released the first iPhone.
right?
In
And
other words, a new one every single year.
Pretty much.
That's not
they
good.
have at the same time.
It's
every
not
year.
It's not a movie series. So it's
And-
not.
Dude, other places they post like a new like phone every like half a year.
So, anyways, the new iPhone is crazy because they took out the finger thing and they stretched the screen all the way around the edge to the very bottom. So the screen is the size of a plus in a normal iPhone, pretty much.
That I would
Like, it's
I would
insane.
like that.
Yeah, and then they push the top all the way to the top,
No, but Chris, that's
and they
theory.
stretch the.
Did
No.
you watch that? Did you actually see Apple announce that they did that? Or did you just watch people talking about it? Because every single time I've watched a video, oh, there's a guy in Apple that talked about the fact that they're actually doing this year. It's
Okay,
actually
I'm pretty
gonna
sure
happen.
the screen is going to do that. The question is between the fingerprint and how they're going to do that. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to have that finger pad because we don't need it anymore. We really don't need the sign-in finger thing anymore. And with the stretch screen that they can now have, they can just stretch it around it even if we keep it.
You know what they did with their new Macs that I actually really like? The new Macs have this feature where essentially up at the top where
Right.
the F keys are,
No, it's fine. It's okay.
like right above the F keys, they have a bar that you can like move and it interacts with the screen, and essentially it works like an editing program where you can like move along and it moves it along, and then you could edit using that thing that's there.
It's a touchpad. That's
Essentially, yeah.
more settings you can change with it. It's pretty cool,
Mhm.
yeah. And then you can change what it looks like, or color or something.
Yep.
I know there's some edible thing, or maybe like when you order it, you can have it
Stuff
customized.
happens, you know.
Yeah, so it's not a very good product.
So, anyways, the reason we started talking about phones was the fact that the technology and the stores and stuff.
Oh, that's right. I was wondering how we got onto that. I was like trying to go back in my mind of how, and back to the whole outdoor mall thing. It's like the one thing that I liked, like as a teenager, is like you had a place to meet friends. You could go to the movies. You could go shopping in 6 different stores,
Community.
and you could pick any one sweater from 6 different places you went. If you were somebody that liked to shop, you had the food court. You could meet somebody for coffee or get lunch, or you had so many different options. Where
Right.
now it's kind of like you have to go, okay, well, I want to go to Reitman's, and then you have to go to just Reitman's. There's
Why?
not like, pardon?
Well,
Yeah,
her
like
point is you stand around the mall with your friends.
Yeah.
But you're not going to stand around in a super hot day or in the middle of winter. You're going to go, oh, well, let's think of a specific store to go through to hang out at.
But but you also have to. They're not going to let you loiter in a store.
Mhm.
Like you're kind of there to purchase your thing, and then you have to leave. Where the mall used to sort of, at least in my generation, and I realize I'm significantly older than you guys, but like the mall was where you went to be with your friends, and your parents could easily drop you off at the mall, and then there were so many options of things you could do. There's the arcade, there's the movie theater, food court, a gazillion different stores. So you could spend the whole day
They
at the
still
mall
have
with
that.
your
It's
friends.
just
I know,
Or
but
weather.
it's phasing out slowly because more and more malls are turning into the outdoor malls where there's just like, one.
It might be
store
why
next to each other.
because of the social just in
Yeah,
the, new,
the social
new years.
aspect to it.
Because people won't go out and hang out really much anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with our company or with our country.
Our company needs to work harder, okay, guys?
But I mean,
Our government tries to create things to encourage people to get out of the house instead of something else that probably would work
But-
better.
and also like
You know
to
what I
tie
mean?
this back into technology, more people communicate through Snapchat and Instagram than they do at the mall. Like your online community are your friends, and you might
That's
go to like
true.
Starbucks or something, but like I'm just saying there's less and less face-to-face communication. Like, I mean, okay, Chris, we went to Kelsey's and we were all sitting on our phones. It was Sophie, Luke, myself, and Chris. And, Luke's like, chit. And then I thought, okay, you know what? I think it was your idea. Everybody put your cell phone in the middle of the table, and the first person to pick it up has to pay the bill for everybody.
Oh,
Genius.
wow.
So you were not allowed to
I just wouldn't bring my
look
phone.
up your cell phone. Because sometimes it's hard to communicate with people at a table because they're like this.
That's true.
So by putting, like, we were allowed to, at the end of the night, then you can take your cell. But if you were to pick it up to either text, answer, whatever, then it's like, okay, you're paying for everybody. I love that idea because then it forces you to interact with the people that are with you rather than like, like. But yeah, I do think that's kind of a problem in terms of people don't have the same social meeting places that are positive like a mall. Malls were awesome.
Well, we
Anyway,
have them, but we don't
Malls
use them,
are
so
awesome.
that's why they're changing it.
Why can't we go back to the library? Fill up the libraries again, guys.
You're
Libraries-
full of books and intelligence.
And nerds.
And nerds.
See, here's the thing: people who call themselves nerds nowadays, and they like
They're the
watch
famous
their
people
little
that everyone loves.
movies, and they act like they know stuff. The real nerds are the people who go to libraries and they sit there read, and those are the real nerds.
oh
I
my
know,
gosh,
I was
I'm
that
a real
nerd.
I still go to the freaking library.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not cool because people have Kindles and you can download, books on your iPhone and stuff. I like a paperback book. I like
Thank
being able to turn the pages.
Yeah, I've went to the library, guys. Yeah.
Like when's the last time you went to the library?
5 years
A
ago.
long time ago.
But there's nothing like opening up a new book, or new
Yeah.
book smell.
It's a good one.
It's
I agree.
amazing.
And then I put it back with all the other books I have.
And you open it
I
up.
have like 10 new books that I don't
Garden
use.
came from.
There is nothing like dead trees
Yes.
with scars and tattoos written upon them to get me in my element and get me going, oh yeah, now I can follow this adventure.
Oh, I
You
just
used
got
to
the
provide us
tattoo
with
bar.
oxygen.
I just got the
And now
tattoo.
you're nothing but a book. But no, I like a fresh smelling book. I'm not gonna lie, that's right up my alley.
I want to go to Froley's now.
Okay. Oh, we didn't talk about your favorite restaurant. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
No.
Frioli's? Oh.
No, so
What made you think of Froley's?
yeah, so my favorite restaurant places to eat, of course, it's not just one thing. It's kind of the mix
Of
between
course,
a couple.
Chris is the foodie of the
So
group.
like
we should probably
store.
cut this and
Wind.
put it backward in the other part.
Wind
It's all right.
and the cheese in France.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a problem.
Like the cheeses in France
So good.
Yeah, no.
were so good on some
No,
fresh
no,
bread.
you're
They
not allowed to
melted
go,
in your mouth.
No.
Like
Where
when
else
we,
would
when,
the cheese be good
when we-
other than in your mouth?
when we were in Paris.
Yeah.
When we were in Paris, remember we got
The
all those
pizza?
the cheeses.
Do you remember the pizza?
Not really.
How do you not remember the pizza? It was thin and it was salty and it was beautiful.
What did it have on it?
Cheese?
Cheese.
Well,
Pepperoni.
don't really, can't remember it. But
Yeah,
I
the
do
cheese
remember
in
that was a
France
cool
is
experience.
just insane.
But yeah, like some of them, they just melt in your mouth just
Yeah.
like sushi. and it just blew my mind. It was like, literally, I'm eating cheese and bread, and it's just like a delicious sushi.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I don't really care for sushi.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe it's because with you, sometimes it's texture,
That's true.
and a lot of the cheese.
I did like some of the cheese, but I wouldn't argue that it was amazing. I would be like, it was
a warm
enjoyable.
baguette.
Exactly, but you have to let it melt in
But-
your mouth.
I
Like
agree.
a warm baguette.
I agree.
With some of those like the really soft like brie or camembert or like
No,
man.
I just eat the baguette by itself. No butter, no
Oh.
cheese, just me and a baguette.
Yeah, there's nothing like just breaking off some freshly baked baguette and just eating it. The flavor's
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
It tastes good. It's just
Still better with
delicious
cheese.
texture. It's just amazing.
Still better with cheese.
Yeah,
And that
but
boursin,
it is just like it's the moment
The
like
boursin. The boursin.
boursin.
You
Yeah.
guys,
Love
Sheri.
that stuff.
Oh, you weren't there for this, but you guys remember the salmon in France?
Oh my goodness. So yeah,
Oh.
Olivia's grandma.
I don't like fish at all,
Right.
and I loved this salmon.
Olivia's
Really?
grandma.
The texture was like meat, like
Oh, you didn't
like that's
have
how good
any.
it was.
I'm sorry.
Greatest salmon ever.
We
She
had-
cooked the greatest salmon ever.
We had a salmon that was amazing. It was perfectly tender. Like it actually had a texture to it, and it tasted amazing. Like the best I've eaten, better than lots of meats I've eaten. And because I don't actually like meat too much, like on its own, but it was
Right.
amazing. And then there were also oysters that were cooked in white wine, I think.
What?
Veronica was amazing.
Oh yeah, a huge shout out to Olivia's grandmother, Veronica.
Veronica.
She is like the coolest woman on the planet.
She is an
seriously
unofficial
is.
boy. She's unofficial
really
one of
is.
the boys.
She came to the bachelor party.
Yeah, she did.
She sang
And
with
she
the guitar.
played a guitar that she learned herself. She
Mhm.
taught herself, and she was playing
She-
these like old French songs.
She's my hero.
Check
I
out
love
the link
her.
in the
I want to be
description.
her apprentice.
I literally want
We
to
don't
be
know if
her.
that's
Like,
gonna happen.
not even like when I'm 80, I want to be her now.
Mhm.
Like, she is so.
And at the wedding when she was dancing.
Oh my gosh!
She was
She
so cool.
rocks.
She does
on.
not care. And listen, I have a story to tell you about Veronica, which is very interesting. Okay, so when she came to Canada, she was telling me, because I was saying, like, she just dances so freely. She has her own moves. Like, she's got her own style. Like, I've never seen anybody move
Yeah.
like her, you know? And so I had said to her, like, you made this comment. She says, well, you know what? I used to be really shy when I was a kid. Hardly ever talked, which you would never know that about her because she's so outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, I hardly ever spoke, and I was always very insecure in my body, and I didn't know how to talk to people, so I just tried to avoid
Sounds like me.
conversation. And then she said that she saw Marcel Marceau, who is like a crazy famous mime from like back in the day, like from like the 1930s. And he's like probably the most famous mime there is. And so she had actually seen him in person, which that alone blew my mind.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
he like she said that like watching him like you know when you're like pushing against the wind, you know like you know when mimes like they're like pushing
Yeah.
against the wind or like they're pulling a rope and you know so she's
Sherry's making really
Yeah.
big gestures here.
like really
that
large
You're
mime
missing-
gestures
you're missing out on this fantastic content.
and the box and here we go yes.
Now she's just flailing her arms
yeah.
around. I don't know what's happening.
But she said it really inspired her because she's like, here's somebody, because mimes don't speak, obviously. So she's like, this somebody that she could emulate because they can communicate with their bodies.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what they're saying without talking.
Totally.
So that's why she grew to love to dance and move, because she could express herself freely without words. And I was like,
Oh,
that is
wow.
a fascinating story.
That's beautiful.
It is.
That's amazing.
It is, because it also explains why she is so free when she dances. Like, she is just out there, and it makes her the coolest chick. And I'm not even going to say old lady. I'm going to say woman. Like, it's not even... If she was 37, she'd be the coolest person. Like, but it makes her even cooler because she's older. But, like,
so great.
she is phenomenal.
I
And,
agree.
like, just the fact that she owns this, like... I mean, this little French provincial house in the middle of a vineyard, sorry. And, I mean, the
A
first
ninja.
night that I was in France... she has this like long table on her patio, and we had all these breads and cheeses and wine, and someone was playing the accordion, and it was like this amazing French experience in this like provincial little city, and it was like, this is like the most amazing experience, like, and then having her there, like, she really has inspired me. I don't know her that well, but enough to know her that I want to be her in every fathomable way. Yeah,
Like
so
her.
she's very cool.
I so agree. It was really cool how, like, the first I was gonna say bachelor party, the first wedding,
Yeah.
like the dance floor, us three owned the dance floor.
Oh, you totally did. Yeah.
And like we were the one leading everyone into things, and like
Yeah.
we're the coolest people on the dance floor.
Got the Congo line going.
Yeah, we got everything going. We started doing the limbo, and then what happened is I came up. I was like, "Oh, you know what's hilarious?" I was like, "Chris, go into the limbo and then add to it." And then we
Right.
did, and then the next people who went through added to that, and it just kept growing as a limbo and becoming longer and longer.
That's
But we
awesome.
we did so many really cool things. But the second wedding was owned by two people. The youngest among us, Paul. Who was
Oh,
rolling
yeah.
on the floor.
Oh yeah, trying to break dance.
It was
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and
Goodness.
Veronica, who
the
never
best.
stopped.
Never stopped. This
And I got to
woman-
dance with Veronica, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the happiest moment.
Yeah. She
I missed that.
she's fantastic. Yeah, Paul really was. It was Paul. It was all about Paul and Veronica.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's
They were the
great.
stars of the dance.
Us like kids who were like, oh, we're in our youth and we're cool. Like we were outdone. We were
Oh,
like we
we-
didn't stand a chance.
I gotta say, we are not the coolest
Nope.
dancers. We do our own different thing.
But
Like
that's kind of what
the-
makes you cool.
telling us what to. Yeah, but I know,
Yeah.
but like it's not even the dance thing anymore. Like this is just a game now, gestures or whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
it's. And
was
for
fun,
everyone else, though, it's like.
It was very entertaining.
What would have been awesome if we could have got everyone there to join in on the things? Everyone, snowball fight!
Yeah.
And then they start snowballing fight.
You know how in France they had people who were on the mic doing stuff? We should have done that where we like had like me or Sheri get on the mic and be like, okay everyone, we're gonna call out things and you guys gotta do this, and we'll like choose the
That
best. or
would have
something
been
like that.
amazing
Yeah, that would
because
have-
everyone was so awkward
Yeah.
and they just
Yeah,
didn't,
it's
like-
true.
It was bad.
Which one?
But,
are you
like,
talking
in
about?
France,
The
it was
Canadian
different.
wedding. The Canadian wedding.
Oh,
Lots of people seemed like they felt too uncomfortable to dance.
right.
Which
They're
is-
just kind of standing by the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
A part of the reason was because
The
the music.
music.
Like in the other
Yeah.
one, there was like this like actual DJ and the
He was
music was loud
actually
and it was
DJing
great.
it rather than.
But then it was
Playlist.
like, oh, every time a song ends, there's like 3 minutes of silence
Yeah.
before the next one starts.
Because it was off a playlist, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that there was like moments of silence where you just like start dancing and you'd be like, okay,
Or just not the best
Yeah.
song comes on. And,
yeah. It was a little more awkward.
But then
it was still
in
fun.
France, like there wasn't really any bad songs. Even the bad song that wasn't like so getting into it, like they just still got it like going.
And that party
They
like
did
rocked
amazing.
until like what
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock in the
And
in the
they
morning.
were still there when we left.
Yeah.
And they probably were cleaning up the whole morning, the whole night.
You know what I did that I always wanted to do, but I did in Ottawa for the second wedding? So I always wanted to go for a midnight swim, but
Mm.
the two people I'm always with hate swimming, so that wasn't really going to happen. Which is these two,
Yes.
Chris and Tim.
Which it did
Yeah.
end up
I don't
happening,
want to be
but-
included
But
in
what
that
happened?
because
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
swimming.
yeah. But what happened is, we were up here, and then I think it was actually Chris who came up to me. He's like, "The youth are going swimming." I was like, "Right now?" And it was like nighttime. It was like it wasn't 12, but it was like
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
10:30.
Yeah.
And so it was like dark enough that it might as well be.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm finally gonna be able to live my dream,
Yeah.
like going for a midnight swim. It's gonna
That's
be
awesome.
fantastic. And then I did,
So we had
and it
like
was
8
exactly as
people.
amazing as I thought.
Oh my
it'd be.
god. Another bucket list.
Another bucket
First
list.
the yellow boy, and then now the midnight swim.
Yes.
Yes. You should actually tell the story about the yellow boy because it's hilarious.
Okay. Let's see where to start. Alright.
Mediterranean, Mitch and I swimming.
In France, Sheri and I were swimming.
Yes.
And while we were swimming, we decided that we didn't want to hang out in the shallow end of the water. We wanted to go into the deeper water. And we were going, and we heard, like, people behind us, and, like, we had told some people to come out deeper, and then they were like, no, we can't. It's too deep. And we're like, what are you, babies? And
Babies,
we're like, oh yeah, they are. Like they're like because they're all actually like really young.
Yeah.
And so then the deeper we went out, like the further it grew of us being like, I'm not a baby. I'm not a baby. And then it turned into this amazing joke that we constantly bring up now.
Yeah.
And me being like, I drowned when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not a baby. I could fly if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I just don't want to right now.
I don't want to right now. I don't want to. I mean, I could, but I don't want to because I can totally do it.
And so then we were heading for the yellow boy.
Like boy as in BUOY.
But whenever we talked about it, we kept talking about being like, it's my lifelong dream to go to
To reach the yellow boy.
Reach the yellow boy.
Because I was actually talking seriously about one of my bucket list items was to see the Eiffel Tower, and so I actually asked Mitch, like genuinely, what's your bucket list? He's like, to make it to that yellow boy. That's it. That's on my list. I'm like, let's do it. Let's live out your dream.
So then
we start swimming.
We're going further and further, and it kept going into this like, oh, it's so. No, I'm not scared. I'm not a baby. I can keep going. I'm not a baby. And then the deeper it got, like right before we started getting to it, like I had this like pretend emotional breakdown where like essentially a backstory came out, and I was like, no, Mom, please. No, I can't swim. Don't dunk me under the water, Mom. No.
Meanwhile, Nana's like swimming
Nana's-
beside him, like
Dunking
shoving his
him
head
underwater.
underwater.
And like Nana was laughing hysterically because she realized that this was a backstory of like when I said I drowned when I was 3 years old.
Yes.
This is my brother. I'm like, no, Mom, please, I can't swim, Mom. And this is all coming out because I'm like, oh, it's just so hard, and I actually am a baby. I'm like, no, Mom, please, Mama, no. And then we finally got to the yellow boy, and I'm like, I did it, I reached my
And he's
dream.
like holding on to the yellow boy and like
And I'm like,
pretending to weep.
I did it, Mom.
I did it, Mom.
I did it. I knew I could. And then we started heading back. And then I turned around. I was like, it's always been my dream to get to the yellow boy. I gotta get there.
He has short-term memory loss from almost drowning.
I've been trying to get to the yellow boy for 20 years.
Oh my god.
So we turn around and swim back to the yellow boy. He's like, I did it, Mom. I did it. I'm like, good for you, Mitch. We'd swim out like 25 feet. Turn around. It's right there.
It always is this far away. Mom, no, please, Mom, no. I'm drowning. I can't do it. And then when we get,
oh God,
when we get back,
it was funny.
yeah, and so now
I don't know if this is gonna be funny to anybody
I
else,
don't
but
know.
it's always gonna be funny to us.
But now, like, we're always somewhere doing something, and anytime, like, one of us is, like, worried about anything, we're just like, I'm not a baby. I drowned when I was 3 years old. Yeah, we
I
drowned.
could fly if
Yeah,
I wanted to.
yeah, I could fly.
Boom, logic.
Yeah, boom, logic. Yeah, that was a fun day.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
You had to be there, like,
Maybe a little bit.
and kind of be slightly drowning.
To really get the full effect, but and it was in the Mediterranean, which that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been as funny if it wasn't in the Mediterranean.
Right. And if we weren't actually drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could actually swim, what would be the point?
I know, exactly. You needed to, like...
Yeah,
be
but
drowning a
then
little
from
bit
that,
to
I
get it.
decided that my version of a bucket list isn't, oh, this is what I've always wanted to do, but is instead like, in the moment, I decide that's what I want to do, and then
Right.
that's my bucket list. Being
That's
like,
your bucket
that's on my bucket list to reach the yellow boy.
Right.
To swim at night.
I'm just like,
Hmm?
just
To
do
swim
it.
at night.
Just do
But
it.
no, you actually did have the
But I guess
dream
that
to
actually
have
was
the
on
midnight
your
sun.
Kind of
bucket
a
list.
bucket list. For me.
Yeah, there you go.
What's on everyone's bucket list?
We don't know.
Choo-choo-choo-choo.
Sherry's.
Yeah.
Sherry wanted to go to the Eiffel Tower. Now that
That
that's
was a
happened,
big
she
one.
can die happily. So
I have had 3 top ones since I was about
Wow.
12.
Then that's it. You can die now.
My-
you can jump off the Eiffel Tower now. That's
Yeah, yay!
Mission accepted.
I would have to say my number one, and think about yours while I'm talking because
Yeah,
I,
both
I
of you.
do actually want to know.
We had
what-
this conversation before and we couldn't think
None
of
in the
anything.
podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I have so
because
many.
we don't
We
list
haven't
them or
lived
anything.
long
Like,
enough to care.
Oh, bringing the age, but yeah, no, you do. You do start realizing time is precious as you
And
get
you start-
older, and then you start going, okay, these are the things I
I
really
think
wanna
you
do.
also start like, because at this point we're like, oh, we'll probably get to those things.
Right.
But when you start getting older, you're like, if I don't have a list of these things, I might not do them.
Yes, and if I don't do them now, then like
You'll regret it.
yeah,
Right?
I'll
But we're like, we have the rest of our lives.
yeah. But no, my number one has always been to go to Venice, Italy, and to live there, and
Ooh.
to like rent a loft and like
that is
travel.
so nice.
Travel around Venice, go to the opera house, go on boat rides, and actually like learn Italian and like go and order spaghetti in an Italian restaurant and have a place where I could write and do that for at least 2 to 3 months. That's number one, like head and shoulders above the rest. Number two was not just the Eiffel Tower, but Paris. Paris was a really big one. And
You did it!
Yay! I did that, and I would love to go back because it was
You
great.
went number 2.
I went number 2! Yay! And the third one is Sydney, Australia. I've always been really fascinated by the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Bridge. You can actually climb it. There's stairs that you
going in the
can
middle
climb.
above the like, is it the scene that they
Okay, you
usually
know
have in
that-
movies type of thing?
You know there's a Sydney Bridge. You know the Opera House in Sydney. Are you serious? You guys, they're both shaking their heads. Tim, do you know what the Sydney Opera House is?
Oh,
It's like
yeah, the place that
See?
you took us.
No, this is in Sydney, Australia.
On the bucket
Okay.
list if we went.
Well, somebody Google it so you can know what I'm talking about. But it's like the Opera House is this white like cone-shaped building, and it's super unique. There's nothing else like it in the world, and there's a bridge that goes over top of the river. And I remember when I was like 12 or something reading that you could actually climb the stairs, and the view is phenomenal because like that's where the Great Barrier Reef is, and I thought, you know what, I really want to not only climb the bridge but like visit Sydney. So that's the third on my list in terms of travel. Yeah, but I mean I've also wanted to publish a book and things like that.
Oh, I
But, yeah.
love
You know what'd be
those.
sad?
Those are pretty cool.
Thanks.
I like it.
Could you imagine a person with short-term memory loss who has a bucket list?
Oh.
I mean, a part of that's like, oh, they're always happy when they actually go to the place,
Right.
but then they never remember it, and they're
Yeah.
always like probably spending so much to do whatever it is.
They'd have to like have somebody taking pictures for them, but they wouldn't be able to remember it. That would be sad.
That
We
would
like 51 dates or whatever.
Oh,
Or
51st dates.
51st dates.
Yeah. So just even one, guys?
No, because we
Oh,
don't.
Yeah, you got a bucket
Oh, there you go.
list.
He's got. 'Em.
I want to travel across the country fixing stuff.
he wants road trip, yeah.
Oh yeah.
A trip fixing stuff with a little trailer with all my tools.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then
My
Going
bucket
to
list is for
help-
Tim to go on a road trip.
Help people, disadvantaged people, and
Yeah.
people who can't afford to hire like
well,
carpenters and
no, that's like the idea. That's our vision for the charity of like running a program doing that with other people. But I'm just saying, my bucket list is just to do that.
right.
Just
That's a great one.
like just probably get paid even
Yeah.
just to cross the country or travel.
Yeah. I have to say I was also really jealous that Mark got to visit like King Arthur's Round Table and stuff when he was in Scotland.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think the castles in general are very cool. No, not so much, Mitch.
Well, it's a lot of walking.
You seen one, you seen one.
My bucket list. Well, see, I don't really like. I already said a few things, like reaching the yellow boy and that type of thing.
Yes.
But I would say I don't really have a bucket list. I more so have like dreams.
Right.
Like, so I want to retire and like move to a farm where I essentially like grow vegetables
Like a
and
hobby
hunt
farm.
rabbits
Yeah.
and that type of thing, and then like sell furs or whatever.
Yeah,
Like it'd be really cool. And I also want to. This is more short term. Like that's super long term, obviously. But then like short term, like I want to like eventually get like a motorcycle and get a boat, and I want to like constantly go out on the water.
What
Like
kind of boat?
the water's my favorite place.
Right.
Just
I-
a small
I
like
love the water.
motorboat or speedboat. Like
Okay.
I don't want like a huge like thing.
Like But
don't
not
care.
a sailboat or a yacht or like. What about like Gord's little fishing boat? Is that?
I love it. I love it.
Right.
I actually drove it.
Yeah, you
It
told
was
me.
yeah, it was really cool because I have my boat license. I got it a while back, but I've never actually driven a boat, so I don't actually know how.
Yeah.
But I was out there with Gord, and he'd always taken different people out, but I had never gone with him, and I was always like, man, I've wanted to go on this boat because I love motorboats and I love being on the water.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned that to him. I was like, oh, are you going out on the boat anytime, like, in the next while? Because I would
Yeah.
love to go. And he's like, do you want to go right now? Because we're not doing anything. And I was like,
Yeah.
sure. And I was like, I've always, like, I have a boat license, so I've always, like, wanted to learn how to drive. He's like, well, I'll teach you. And then when we got on the boat, he actually let me drive the entire thing and just told me what to do. And so I, like, backed it up, and I, like drove in, I, like, sped up, and I did the turns, and it was
That's
fantastic. It was
awesome.
fantastic. It was one
You
of
have
the
lots
best
of fun.
times of me lifey. So
Nice.
that's a bucket list
There
thing.
you go.
And that's
That's a good
but
one.
even more than that, I want to get a boat and
Get a
be able
boat
to go
that you
hunt.
can just do.
And probably
on
like get
your
a
own.
place on the water. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know what would differentiate that from a bucket list versus just dreams. You know.
Mhm. No, but that's good.
A bucket list is pretty much dreams.
Yeah,
no?
it really
Like,
is.
Things
It's
you
kind of
want
the same thing.
to happen.
What about
I have all
you? You got one, Chris? Anything that comes to mind or no?
I think I gotta go to bed.
I have no idea.
I have work tomorrow.
Well, we're about an hour in, so we
Yeah,
should wrap
we
up
can
anyways.
we can shut it down.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Well,
We've
first
talked
we should
about
have
like
Tim
food.
say any bucket list things because he didn't say
mall.
anything. Right?
Yeah, he did. He
Bucket
said it in his
list.
van. His
Oh, yeah,
van.
that's it. Who cares?
Some other stuff.
Got any
You
others,
want to
Tim?
travel, road trip. I want to fly a plane.
Oh, that's a good. That's one of your
Tim
dad's
wants to
dreams
fly a
too.
plane.
I want to invent something that
Like
gets
not in a
famous and
plane,
helps
just fly like a
people.
bird.
Alright, let's end this podcast by everyone just leaving.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Please download this and listen every day.